Welcome to our February monthly reset. I'm super excited because this is the first proper monthly reset of 2024. We've been prepping a lot in January, getting all our goals set and all that. So now we can actually get back to our routine and making some goals, reflecting and all that. So for this one, it's going to be a little bit different just because we didn't do our regular reset in January. So I'm just going to be like reflecting a little bit, and then we're going to do my goals for February. And then I thought it'd be fun to do a little TBR of all the books that I would like to read in 2024, and there's a lot, so I thought it would be fun to share, and then you guys can give me your input about what you want to read, what you'd like me to read and all that. Ignore the little light shadows going on. I keep moving around and it doesn't seem to be leaving, but it's okay. So let's just go ahead and talk a little bit about January. So like I said, I didn't have like exact specific goals that I wanted to set in January just because I was planning a lot for the whole year, and it was really just my month to like figure out a game plan for how I can achieve my goals. Check out my 2024 reset videos if you haven't already. But I can go ahead and talk about the words that describe this month and a little bit about what I did this month. So the first word was organize, which I guess you can tell just because I was saying how I was planning and organizing and all that stuff. But also another word that I had was eye-opening, which I felt like is a really good word because in the whole planning process and figuring out what not just like this year but even the following years could look like, I got a lot of information and realized some things that I was heading towards wasn't necessarily gonna go in that direction. So it was very eye-opening and helped have a lot of clarity in what I should be focusing on and striving for and all that. So I think it was really helpful, and this is why I really encourage you guys to have a list of what you want to do and try to find a game plan for that, because it can give you answers into what you thought might be possible might not be so realistic anymore. So that's something that helped me a lot in January. I felt like the organization gave me a lot of clarity and led me to help prep for this year a little bit better. And then another word that I put down was motivating, and like I said, like I have a list of things I want to do and a game plan for them. I felt very motivated. I felt like I'm headed in the right direction. I also started doing this thing called UGC, user generated content, which is something that I feel like many of you might be interested in because a lot of you are content creators yourself. So this is a way of like working with brands and getting paid for working with brands, but not having to worry about it being on your platform. So following doesn't really matter so much. But I definitely want to make a whole video about that and explain all that because I'm still a beginner, but I had a whole game plan set for how I can incorporate UGC into my life and into my goals and all that, and I landed my first deal the first week that I did it, which is completely crazy for me, and I'm super excited and felt very motivated and happy with how things are going. So definitely want to talk about that in a different time when I learn more about it and gain a little bit more experience, but that is something that has been very motivating for this month. So then we could just go ahead and talk about February now. So with content ideas, I would like to continue my UGC thing and would like to sign another contract because so far I've done one, and I think it'd be cool to continue to expand that, see what I can do with that. So I would like to hopefully get another UGC deal, and then I would like to upload 2 YouTube shorts. I uploaded so far I think maybe like 4 in my whole YouTube existence, but I did one last week that seemed to be doing pretty well. So I think it'd be cool to do some more YouTube shorts, and I guess it goes hand in hand with the next goal, which is to post 4 times on my Bookstagram, and I could just repurpose a lot of the things from my Bookstagram onto my YouTube because that's what I did with the post I did last week. I just repurposed an Instagram reel for my YouTube short. So I want to continue with my Bookstagram and see what seems normal and comfortable, because I think I talked about this a little bit before, but I am so new to Instagram and Bookstagram and all that, and I really want to bridge the gap from my YouTube channel to like Instagram because I feel like we can have better connection on Instagram than YouTube just because I post once a week and there's no like DMing or anything like that on YouTube that I'm aware of. So I want to learn my cadence with Instagram and see what I'm comfortable with, what I'm not, and all that stuff. So that's definitely a goal that I have. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, because girl, what are you doing? It's at Amina's Library, so we can talk and all that. And yeah, so those are my 3 content goals for February. I feel like that is good. I don't really have any in terms of my YouTube channel because I'm just doing my thing, uploading at least once a week, and so far so good. So yeah. Then for health, I would like to plan and complete workouts. So if you've been here for a while, you know that anytime I have like a goal for workouts, it usually be something like, you know, work out 3 times a week, 4 times a week, do yoga this many times, walk this many times. And while that's good and dandy, I feel like that relies heavily on how I'm feeling that certain day. So I feel like having a plan for a week, and instead of being like, oh, I'm gonna work out 3 times this week, let me do it whenever I feel like it, I'm just gonna have like a calendar or something and like plan out the workouts. So I know like, okay, it's Monday, I have to do this workout, let me go ahead and just do it, and it'll be like already scheduled for me. And I feel like that will help me because I don't want to like disappoint myself, and I love checking things off. So I think doing that would be really helpful, and it'll take out the factor of how I'm feeling and relying on how I'm feeling, because at the end of the day, my overall goals for health and wellness is to work out even if I don't feel like it. So I think starting that off now when planning, not even thinking about how I'm feeling, will be really helpful to set myself up for success and learn now. So I will just go ahead and start working out whenever I don't feel like it, because I don't want to get into the habit of doing it only when I feel like it, because who knows when I'll actually start feeling like it. And then the next one is to continue incorporating salads into meals. So again, if you've been here for a while, you know that I would say something like, you know, incorporate vegetables into my meals or whatever. And I feel like the problem with that was that like I would buy the fruits, I would buy the vegetables, but they would just sit in the fridge and we would never eat them. And I think while I'm prepping my meals and cooking dinner and stuff, whenever I just make a salad and then just add it to the dinner table, it makes me eat it. And I'm just like, girl, you're so freaking stupid. Like, duh. Like, duh. Like, but I think just putting in the effort, guys, I swear, I'm having like a breakthrough. Like, you know, make the salad, you'll eat the salad, like, no duh. But like I literally would just buy this stuff and they would just sit there and rot. So yeah, I just need to wash the fruit, wash whatever, put it on the freaking dinner table and eat it. I don't know why I like make it more complicated than it has to be and just like stare at it in the fridge. I'm like, oh, we have it, so I can just eat it whenever I want. Like, no, let me just add it to the dinner table with the rest of the stuff. Like, big brain over here. So anyways, those are my 2 health and wellness goals. And then for personal, I have buy a picnic blanket and read outside. So these go hand in hand because I want to read outside, but I want to be on the floor. I want to read in nature and stuff. Like I have a patio and I have chairs, which is fun and fine and whatever, but I just really like to lay down. So I want to get myself a picnic blanket and read outside more. I also love sunsets. Like, fun fact about me, I take pictures of every beautiful sunset I ever see, and I honestly should make like a little album of them because they're like so scattered throughout my phone from like 10 years ago. But I want to just like lay down and stare at the sunset. I was gonna say sun, but yeah, I just want to lay down and stare at the sunset, and it's just something so peaceful, almost like a meditation in a way of just like looking at how beautiful the sky is. It just, I love it so much. So I feel like these goals will help me with like the quality time and fulfillment goal that I talked about in my 2024 goals, because I really want to like spend more time outside, spend less time on my phone and all that. So being outside will definitely help with that. Also, I love going to the beach and I live pretty close to the beach, so having that will help with just maybe like, hey, let's go out, read on the beach, chill on the beach and all that stuff. So I'm super excited for these goals. Honestly, all these goals are something that I feel like I'm very excited and passionate about. Even working out, like, who would have thought? So those are the goals that I have. Yeah, we're gonna see how I do in our March reset. But now we're gonna go ahead and move over to my TBR for 2024. These are just some that just came off the top of my head. They're not in any particular order. I might read all, I might read none. Who freaking knows? Because I'm very much a mood reader, and I'm the type of person where I can just be scrolling on Instagram. I see someone talk about one book and I'm like, yep, I'm gonna put whatever book I was gonna read to the side and read whatever I just heard about. So I also feel like in this list, there's a couple fantasy books, which I'm so excited about, because in 2023, I don't feel like I really read enough fantasy books, and so I feel like I'm entering my fantasy era. I'm ready to know all about the fairies and dragons and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. I also did a poll recently, which is very split right now. I did 2 polls actually. One was just all about like, which types of books do you really like? Fantasy and dark romance were like first and second. So then I made another poll talking about like, okay, between fantasy and dark romance, which one do you guys like? And now it's 50-50. So I'm trying to do these polls so I can see see what book I should probably read next based on what you guys would like, and now they're like 50-50, so we're just gonna pick one. We're gonna read all types of things this year, so everyone's gonna be fed, but just seeing the split is very interesting. Anyways, let me stop talking. Let me talk about the books that I want to read this year. The first one is the Chestnut Spring series. This should be no surprise. I made a reading vlog for Flawless, which is the first book. Go ahead and check that out. And I just finished the second one, Heartless, which I think is coming out after this video. So I read 2 of them so far, and I'm about to start the 3rd book, and there's 5 overall. So I want to finish that series. Hopefully in February I'll be done with it. But yeah, I want to complete that series, which is just a small town book revolving around the Eaton family and the Eaton boys and how they find love, and it's very interesting. So far so good. I really like both of the books, so I'm excited to continue on. Then next is A Court of, what is it? A Court of what? I can't even, ACOTAR. A Court of Thorns and Roses. There we go. I want to read ACOTAR. This series has been on my to-do list, my TBR, for at least 2 years now. I've just been putting it off. I've had so many other books that I wanted to read, and I just feel like I'm gonna get sucked into the series, and it's gonna give me like a book hangover. I might be in a reading slump afterwards, so I've been kind of pushing it off. I would definitely want to read it. I want to read it in the first quarter or second quarter of this year for sure, because I want to know what everyone's talking about, and I want to get the memes, and I want to get the references. So yeah, I definitely want to read ACOTAR. As far as I know, it's about like fairies or fae. I really don't know the technical terminology, and I think there's a love triangle. I really don't know. Don't tell me. I'm gonna read. So we're gonna get to it. Then I want to read the Dirty Air series, which is by Lauren Asher. I read the Dreamland Billionaire series last year, and so I really liked it, so I wanted to read this one as well. It's about F1 drivers, which I know nothing about at all, but like I know nothing about cowboys and rodeos and ranches and all that stuff, but I'm a cowgirl right now, so I guess I'm about to be an F1 girly as well. So I'm excited to dive into that one. Then I want to read the Brutal Birthright series, which is like a mafia romance about 2 mafias, and I think 2 people have like an arranged marriage from both. There's like I think 6 books or something, and we learn about all the people in this mafia and their love and all that stuff. So I'm really excited about that one as well. Then I want to read the King of Sin series, which is by Anna Hong. She wrote the Twisted series, which I read last year and I also really loved. The King of Sin series, from what I know, has billionaires in it, which your girl freaking loves. Like, I will eat up a billionaire. I love what? I just will eat up a billionaire romance series or novel, whatever, you get me. I love billionaires, so I'm super excited for that one. I think the first one is a Grumpy Sunshine arranged marriage, something like that. I don't even care so much about the sunshine, just give me the grumpy. It's King of Wrath, so of course he's gonna be grumpy, and I've heard so many little audio clips of, I think his name's Dante from the first, is his name Dante? Anyways, I read a lot about him and heard a lot of audios from him, which is the lead in the first book. So I am super excited to read that. I was thinking maybe about pushing it later into the year just because it's part of a series, and I think the 4th book is about to come out and there's gonna be 7. I don't really like reading books that are still being written or if there's more to it, just because it's not done yet and I want to have it all wrapped up nicely. But at the same time, they're all like standalones. The story doesn't necessarily continue on to the next book because we follow different characters, so I don't think it should be that deep. Then I want to read Divine Rivals / Ruthless Vows. I heard so many good things about this series. It's a YA fantasy book from what I understand, and it's a revolving around like Greek gods, I think, and like a war between them, which, oh my god, I freaking love Greek mythology. I ate that up as a kid. I'm super excited for this one. I feel like it's gonna be really good. I heard the first one ends in a like crazy cliffhanger, so I'm so glad the second one came out, and I think there's only gonna be 2 books, so definitely something that I really want to read and I'm super excited for. Which leads us also into the next book, which is also Greek mythology based, and it's Percy Jackson. I have wanted to read Percy Jackson for years now. As a kid, I would always hear about it, see it in Barnes and Nobles, but if for whatever reason I just kept picking up other books, and now that the series is out, I see characters, I'm like, shoot, I really want to read this, and I want to watch the show, but I want to read the book first. So I want to read the whole series, but gonna start with the first one and then probably watch the first season of the show. Super excited about that. I did watch the early 2000s version of the Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief back in the day, and I liked it, but also I'm aware I didn't read the book, so I don't know how it compares. And also I had a crush on Logan Lerman, so like I was biased. don't blame me. So I'm ready to read the book, ready to watch the series, and then probably rewatch the movie just to see how off we were. I already know the ages are off. So yeah, that's that. And then I want to read Haunting Adeline. Well, do I want to read it? I want to read it because people have such mixed opinions on it. Some people love it, some people hate it. People say there's some crazy things going on, red flags and all that, and I love red flags. So I'm super excited to read this. It's a dark romance for all you darkies. What am I saying? For all you dark romance girlies out there. I was gonna say for all you dark girlies, whatever. I probably will make a reading vlog for it because why not? Then on a completely different note, I want to read Love in Other Words, which is a friends to lovers. I don't really care for friends to lovers, but I've heard also really good things about Love in Other Words. People said that this is like their top book. Like, it's just a good comfort read. It's one that they recommend people, whoever wants to get into reading. So I'm gonna give it a chance, see how I like it. Then I really want to read Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart. Mostly Once Upon a Broken Heart, but I heard that you need to read Caraval before. So we're gonna read Caraval. It's only 3 books from what I'm aware of, and it helps with like some background and other information for Once Upon a Broken Heart, but it's not a requirement. I just heard it's like recommended because we see some characters or something in Once Upon a Broken Heart. I don't freaking know. I just know I need to read Caraval first. So that's what we're gonna do. They're both by Stephanie Garber. Never read any of her books before, so I'm really interested to see how I like those. Then I want to read Travis, and if you read Archer's Voice, then there was a character in that book named Travis, and we don't really like him. He's kind of like the villain. This is kind of like his redemption arc, I guess. So I'm really excited to read that. I love Archer's Voice so much. I love how it literally tore me up and then put me back together. So I'm excited to see how Travis works out and to see like Archer again, because it's been a hot minute. It's been a year since I read it. It seemed like we get a little bit of a character development going on in the end of Archer's Voice, but I'm excited to see how it fully wraps up and how he is in this book, if he learned any lessons and all that. I'm all for a redemption arc, guys. So super excited. And then the last book is a reread. It's Terms and Conditions. I already read this, but I don't know. I just have this thing inside me going on that I just really want to reread it for some reason. And I'm not much of a rereader. Like, I used to be the type of person where I was like, oh, why would I reread a book when I already read it? I already know what it's like and all that. So I didn't understand why, but there's something in me that's just telling me, hey girl, reread this book. So I'm super excited to reread it because it was one of my favorite books last year. Maybe it'll end up being a comfort read. I don't know. I've never had a comfort read because I've never really reread a book before. I reread the Shatter Me series, like the first 3, but it's been like over 10 years since I read it. So I don't know if I even really count it because I forgot so much, but like I remember a lot from Terms and Conditions. But for whatever reason, I want to reread it. And honestly, I might start reading it like today. I don't know. I don't usually read 2 books at the same time. So if I feel like taking a break for whatever I'm reading and read that, who knows, maybe I will. So anyways, those are all the books that I can think of right now off the top of my head for what I want to read. Could be more, could be less. Let me know what books you want to read for 2024, and follow me on Goodreads because I am trying to keep track of all my books on there, and you can get a little inside scoop of my thoughts before I come out and make a video about it. Also, become my friend because I'm trying to accept all the people who request to be friends on Goodreads. So if you want to be friends, I will accept you. So yeah, I think that is all. This is everything for the February reset. I'm super excited. I'm ready to get started with our goals, get started with the reading and all of that. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.